say that.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Well, hello, everybody. What is happening out there in Jets land? This is GreenBean. Welcome to the Thursday thick of it. I am happy to be here with you. I couldn't be more excited. It might not look like it because I couldn't be more exhausted, but I'm in a great mood, man. I got a 2-hour nap in today, so why not keep going, right? A nap is good. It'll keep you running. Even when you're on empty, little naps, like stopping at little gas stations, pouring in a cup of gas and just drive to the next place. That's how I feel. But anyway, guys, this is going to be a good night. We have much to discuss. We have Jets news today. Things like Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams, Javelin, Guidry, all sorts of fun stuff to discuss. Before we do that, I'd like to remind you of just a few things. Number one, if you're hanging out with us tonight, why not go ahead and give us some of that milk thumb action? Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. YouTube loves it. We love it. And it's a great thing to do. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is a great time to do so. You can just click that button one time. And then from here on out, whenever we mention it, we're not talking about you anymore. Just go, yeah, that's some other guy. It's not me. I did it already. It helps the channel grow, and we appreciate it. I would also like to remind you about the sponsor for tonight's show. You guys know and love them by now. Most of you, I would imagine, at least have some of their products, and that is the wonderful Manscaped. Manscaped, the finest in men's below-the-waist grooming, has gone ahead and went from below the waist up to the face, and now they have the Beard Hedger Pro line, which is utterly amazing. I thought they could not improve upon the Lawnmower 4.0, which is the trimmer with the spotlight on it, which gives you a point of view that you never knew you wanted. Let me tell you, it's startling, but beautiful. Let me say it that way. The Beard Hedger trimmer has 20 different settings that you never have to put those clips on your trimmer ever again. That whole bag, drawers full of clips. Never have to do it again. Guys, you can get all those products at manscaped.com. The link is in the description of this video, and you can save 20% plus get free international shipping, all by using the promo code GreenBean when you get to checkout. 20% gone. Don't worry about shipping. It's on them, and the products that arrive at your house are second to none. That is manscaped.com. I want to thank Manscaped for sponsoring this week's Thursday Thick of It. And that brings us to the best part of the entire show. Are you guys ready for this? This is the best part. My favorite part, anyway. I get to no longer be alone. This is so good. Let's bring on our co-host and see how he feels this week with all the Jets news. Let's say hello to Gunny. What's up, dude? Welcome. How you doing, bud?
GreenBean, how you doing, brother? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We get to talk about the New York Jets. This is kind of like the pick-me-up for the day, right? Go through the entire day, get to this point. Finally, start to see myself get a little bit uplifted. Get to hang out with you and everybody else watching and talk about some New York Jets. So I'm pumped to be here.
Uplifted, I like that. I need some uplifting, Gunny. It starts with a big old-fashioned sneeze. Thank you. Thank you. You know, Gunny, there's a movement out there to end the need to say bless you when people sneeze. What do you think about
I've heard about
that?
that.
You have any feelings?
Yeah, I just feel like it's just one of those things where everybody's feelings are so easily hurt nowadays. I don't understand it, man. Like, it's gotten to the point now where, like, what used to be freedom of speech can hurt people's feelings now. So they're trying to go ahead and mitigate and censor everybody, man. I've just got to that point now where I look at it and I say you to anybody trying to go ahead and censor anybody. In that situation, getting rid of bless you is somebody's feelings got hurt and they're throwing up the offended card, and now they're trying to go ahead and make it a thing. So for me, man, I'm over it. I'm so over this freaking, you can't say Christmas anymore. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's happy holidays because Merry Christmas is too freaking, the softness of this generation to me is starting to become very concerning, because if words are hurting people's feelings, the stuff we used to say when we were growing up, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, doesn't apply anymore.
No.
It doesn't apply anymore.
Stones.
Words hurt.
We can't get the sticks and stones. I'll tell you what, I never understood the bless you thing. I don't know if I'm qualified to bless anybody, but hey, I say it because I feel like I'm supposed to. But anywho, bless me. Thank you, Gunny, for blessing me with all of your powers of blessing. I appreciate it.
I got you.
Good. Now tonight, guys, I'm not sure if you were aware, this is a big night. Flight 2023 starts in about an hour.
Yes.
So we'll shorten tonight. I thank everybody for hopping on with us an hour early. For the next couple weeks, we're going to do a 7:00 thing for myriad reasons, but number one being I have to go to bed. So there's that. I got to go to bed right after the show. So I also want to watch Flight 2023 after the show. So I'll probably fall asleep to that tonight. And that's exciting because, Gunny, last year we got to see a window in to one of the strongest first rounds, even into the second round. But particularly that first round last year, we had a top 5 pick with pick 4. We had pick number 10. So we had 2 top 10 picks, and then Joe Douglas traded back into the first round to get a guy that we all thought was a top 10 pick, which was pretty friggin' amazing. So to see their thinking, how excited they got when the Texans took Derek Stingley, or when they actually got to 10 and the Atlanta Falcons took, what was it, London?
Drake London, yep.
Yeah, and not Garrett Wilson. Like, they were just so ecstatic. And then the fact that Jermaine Johnson was still there at 15 and Joe Douglas calling every team. And we got to see that. So this year is going to be different because we didn't have those top 10 picks. We didn't have a lot of kind of the hubbub around this draft. We talked about this a lot. It was more subdued. It was kind of it was a quieter feel to this draft. And in addition to that, we went ahead and picked a guy that, quite frankly, most Jets fans didn't think we would take, number one, but that we didn't need. Yeah. That was the overarching feeling. I remember your feelings initially were very similar to mine, but like, what the hell are they doing? I don't understand. We have Aaron Rodgers, we have this window, and they go ahead and take a guy that, may only play 30% of the snaps on defense, kind of thing. So this year with Flight 2023, what do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to find out that I keep doing that, man. Dexter McDougal, our third, John Idzik's third round gem. McDonald, you think we're going to find out like this was the guy they were hoping slid to them or some shit like that? You think we're going to find out they never wanted Broderick Jones? What do you think we're going to see? What's going to be the big story you think that comes out of this one?
I think it's simple. Aaron Rodgers. I think the primary focal point on this particular series, at least until freaking, around mid training camp, is going to be Aaron Rodgers, right? Seeing that whole process unfold from the beginning of the conversation. And I saw somebody kind of put out there that there was a whole process of bringing in all the powers that be in deciding which quarterbacks to pursue this offseason. And they had them broken down to categories, like these quarterbacks can put us in the Super Bowl, these quarterbacks can make us playoff worthy, these quarterbacks would be freaking like holding pieces until we can get another quarterback next year, et cetera, et cetera. I'm excited to see what that's about. I kind of want to know what that board looks like and to see whether or not we truly did get our number one guy, which in this case would be Aaron Rodgers. We all felt the same way, right? Derek Carr was going to let us to the playoffs. Did anybody feel we were Super Bowl contenders with Derek Carr? I don't know if that's the case, but we all signed up for it because, one, we've been subdued with subpar quarterback play, and two, this is somebody who's young enough to play for several years. Aaron Rodgers was the dream, man, and I think getting Aaron Rodgers, to this day, the majority of us wake up and we'll see like them doing stuff on the New York Jets Twitter, social media, of him practicing with the Jets, and you're like, Aaron Rodgers is our freaking quarterback. I think they're going to run with that. They're going to run with it, and that's going to be the primary focus of this. I don't think we're going to see, like you said, the same kind of pizzazz about, the whole draft experience. Because, again, when we saw this whole thing come to fruition with McDonald, they took it down to the wire. And as much as people want to say, like, hey, this was the guy all along, if that was the case, you didn't see the same kind of excitement. We knew Sauce Gardner was the pick within 30 seconds of them being on the board, right? Like, we knew Garrett Wilson was the guy within 30 seconds of them being on the board. We didn't see that with McDonald. You saw it run down to the wire, and I think because of the fact that, again, Broderick Jones was that guy. He was the dude, and they had to adjust plans. And so, for me, I think we might not see that because then it wouldn't go ahead and go into the whole selling to McDonald, how he was our guy. So we might not see too much about that being isolated because they do a really good job at creating content that motivates and empowers the organization. So I don't think we'll see a lot of that in regards to the draft room. We'll probably see some stuff with regards to like maybe Tippmann. I think Tippmann was definitely the guy that they wanted at center because they chose him when they had all the centers on the board. We might see something about that. But the focal point for me, I really believe it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, and I can't wait for it.
That's a good point. I think they are going to focus on the Aaron Rodgers. Why wouldn't they, right? I mean, it makes sense. It's clearly the big story of the offseason. And no matter how you slice it, man, every other offseason we've ever had when we got, the second overall pick and we traded up for, we got Zach Wilson and we got ABT. And the year before that, we got, we finally had a GM that took a tackle and a wide receiver. Like, no matter what it is, nothing can be as big or as potentially impactful as getting a quarterback that you already know doesn't suck balls, right? Does that make sense? Doesn't suck. Like, no matter who we take, Sammy boy, Sanchez, Zach, obviously, you don't know. You have to hope. With Aaron Rodgers, the only thing we're hoping is that he didn't get old real fast. That's what you're hoping. Yeah. It doesn't look like he did. He looks revitalized and like you've pointed out, and we've talked about it numerous times. I mean, the guy had a down year for numerous reasons, including broken thumb. He loses his number one wide receiver, new offensive coordinator, like all kinds of stuff. And he still threw for 3,700. What was it? 60.
Still top 10 stats.
Yeah, top 10 stats, man.
27 touchdowns, 26 touchdowns, only 12. Like, he still put up top 10 stats with broken thumb and while leading the league in most accurate passes thrown that were dropped. Like, you really can't ask for much more than, like, I'm excited about seeing Aaron Rodgers because let's be honest, even if we get Aaron Rodgers with top 10 capabilities, right? So let's say he's not the top 3 guy he's been that we've known of for the last 17 years before last season. Aaron Rodgers is still freaking Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could be the 10th ranked quarterback in the NFL and put up career numbers for the New York Jets. Yeah. And with this defense, people keep forgetting, man, this defense in itself is going to make his job a lot easier. Breece Hall was able to get wins for the Jets last year with Zach Wilson at the helm. Think about that. Zach Wilson at the helm last year beat the Buffalo Bills, the Super Bowl bound Buffalo Bills last year, right? Beat the Miami Dolphins on the back of Breece Hall. Now you're going to go ahead and pair Breece Hall with a legitimate quarterback that's going to demand respect by defenses, and it's not even close. And I think Aaron Rodgers at 75% can get this team to a Super Bowl. Yeah. That's how good this quarterback is. It's just too easy of a math to go ahead and put together. 1 + 1 = 2 in this situation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah,
well, I like it. I feel the same way, and I like how you put it. It's like, Aaron Rodgers, literally having a down year, bottom 15 or whatever. It's going to be, franchise setting for us.
Yep.
I mean, maybe not Namath, but it's like unbelievable how bad. I mean, dude, we've had such good supporting team, whether it be the offensive line, the running game, the defense. We've had all those pieces, and it's always been the quarterback. Even with Sanchez, while he had his moments, still, we suffer, man. We suffered. It's going to be great, guys. Skills checking in. What's up, buddy? Thank you for the super chat. He says, can I mow the lawn with Manscaped? My mower broke today, and I need a new one, but I got plane tickets to New York for the Pats game, and I'd rather use that $500 on good seats after flying 4,000 miles. Well, here's what I asked myself this year, because I need to fix my lawnmowers too. I have put forth very weak attempts, and I need to do my. Remember the scene from Gladiator, where he's walking with his hand, he's like touching the wheat. When he dies.
Yeah.
That's my lawn. I can do that with my lawn. I can literally do that with my lawn. I did it the other day. I was like, oh, look at me. I'm a Gladiator. I'm Russell Crowe. But you know what? What's the big deal? Who cares if your neighbors complain? Yeah, dude, get yourself some tickets to the Jets. Go get good seats, nose skills. Get on in there. Watch the game. Have a great memory. Hopefully it's a great memory. And the lawn will be fine. You'll figure out. Get a weed whacker and chop it. Who cares, man? The lawn, small potatoes. We make such a big deal about lawns. Good for you, No Skills. I firmly approve. Now, that said, you can try to cut the actual lawn with the lawnmower 4.0. It'll probably be a minute. The flashlight's not going to help too much out there. It's more designed for. It's going to take a few minutes, isn't it?
It's going to take a while. Yeah, it will. I mean, it could get the job done, but I would set aside about a week or so to go ahead and mow your lawn. I don't know how big your lawn is, but at least a week just to be safe.
Yeah, I know. In my lawn, man, shit, I got about an acre of lawn, and yeah, that's not the tool I want to use, but good tool. But thank you, No Skills. So let me look at this poll. Now, guys, if you haven't voted in the poll, there's a poll up there right now. Will Quinnen Williams be traded or extended? Now, I think most of us, Gunny, feel the same way. I mean, do you have any real concerns that Quinnen Williams is not going to be a Jet? There's all these articles coming out with potential landing spots and potential compensation and I look at it as a bunch of organizations. They're trying to capitalize on the non-story because Quinnen Williams did what everybody's doing these days. It's kind of the way we negotiate now through social media, you know? And it's interesting, Gunny. Quinnen Williams took the Jets off his stuff and he says, defensive tackle for ... And then he unfollows the Jets. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get a little blurb for, I forget, maybe it was Samini, somebody. Quinnen Williams is asking for 25 to 30 million. So that, to me, in my opinion, came from the Jets. You know what I mean? Like, that's them saying, all right, well, he's going to play the social media game. He's asking for a lot of money, everybody. He's asking for up to $30 million, and we're not going to pay him $30 million. So all that said, it's kind of the way business is done these days. It's the way of the world, right? You making anything out of it? Do you think there's any realistic option that Quinnen will be traded? Like, so somebody's going to offer 3 firsts or something like that? Or do you think this is much to do with nothing and we're going to see Quinnen signed any day?
Quinnen Williams is not going anywhere. I think last year we saw him not be a part of this defense. I think it was against the Lions. And that defense, as talented as we were across the board, could not create pressure to make Jared Goff uncomfortable. I think we saw that. He is an invaluable piece to what we do. What Coach Salem wants to do is so important and so invaluable. Quinnen Williams needs to be the focal point of our defense. He is arguably the best player on our team. So, honestly, I'm not worried about this. And you're right. You said it perfectly. This is the way of this generation, right? And you know what? Let me go ahead and get the court of public opinion on my side. And I'm going to go ahead on social media, create a big hoopla about me unfollowing the Jets and defensive tackle for ... Like, listen, Quinnen Williams loves the New York Jets. He wants to be a Jet. This is the kid that I think has done right by the New York Jets as well in terms of not only on the field, but as well as a personality. Like, he's somebody you want your franchise to stand behind and say, yeah, this is one of our guys. He's homegrown. I don't think he's delusional to the fact that he's going to get Aaron Donald money. Aaron Donald making $30 million as a defensive tackle is probably not going to happen again, probably in our lifetime. I don't think many people can go ahead and look at Aaron Donald and think that this is the norm, right? He's the exception to the rule. He's that anomaly, right? The dude is literally just built different. Like, he didn't even get that much money until numerous freaking first team All-Pros. He had won Defensive Player of the Year, I think, twice. He had taken the team to a Super Bowl. Then, boom, you know what? You're that dude. Here's $30+ million a year. That's not even within the realm of possibility. And I don't believe for a second Quinnen Williams is that naive to think that he rates that. I do believe he's probably close to that $25 million per number. And I'm okay with that. $25 million over 4 years, give it to that freaking man. I think the majority of this thing right now, from other whisperings that I've been hearing, is more so about the guaranteed money. Quinnen Williams ain't going anywhere. Coach Saleh actually was asked this question, I think, with Rich Samini last week. He said, it's going to get done. I'm not worried about it. Q is a Jet. Like, he's literally part of the identity of the New York Jets and what we want to be. And you need him on this run right now with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. You can't, as Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the offense, Q is the quarterback of the defense. You need both working in collusion in order for us to go ahead and make this thing work, we need to win a Super Bowl, right? We're doing all this to win a Super Bowl. Q ain't going anywhere. I think at the end of the day, it's going to cost us between 22 and 25 million a year annually. It's going to be around 70 to 75 million dollars guaranteed, but it's going to have that nice, pretty number of $100 million contract over 4 years, and it's going to get it done. Q ain't going anywhere. I'm not stressing it. Just like I wasn't stressing about the Aaron Rodgers situation. Once Aaron Rodgers decided, he stated, listen, I want to play for New York. I wasn't worried about it.
Right.
He's going to be a Jet. Same concept here when it comes to Q.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I felt the same way about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, obviously, you can't help every now and then get a little bit like, okay, man, I wish this would just happen already.
Right.
And a lot of Jets fans were downright, freaking out. I mean, I would get long DMs and stuff explaining why Joe Douglas is blowing it. He's going to lose him. Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I hear you. I do, but I don't know. I just never really stressed it. Like you said, Aaron Rodgers went public and said, I intend to play, and I intend to play for the New York Jets. I mean, shit.
Yep.
It's kind of it right there. So with Quinnen Williams, look, Indy Jets, our old buddy. What's up, Jay? Good to see you. He says Joe Douglas is treating Quinnen like Adams. Q will start voicing his. I don't know, man. I think drawing the correlation between the two is pretty severe, Indy.
Very severe.
Let's not forget Jamal Adams, number one, sucked as far as in-game impact. He was a good ball player. Make no mistake. And I rooted for Jamal Adams, and I loved the energy but the guy was a shit talker. He never shut up, and he couldn't catch the ball. And the only time you would ever get stats is against bad teams. Again, like the year that he got, the first team All-Pro, the year that he was traded, he had 6.5 sacks, which was like one below the record at the time. I know he has the record now for safety sacks in Seattle, but at the time it was, right below the record, and we were all making a big deal. 5 of those sacks came in 2 games against the hapless Washington Redskins and New York Giants. He got, 3 sacks against, I believe it was Daniel Jones, and then 2 against Dwayne Haskins, God rest his soul. And, and so he had another sack and a half the rest of the year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what he did. No interceptions, so, he's a good player, but Quinnen and him are on 2 different planes as far as impact to the team. And then on top of that, Jamal Adams was out of control, with all of his problems and everything else. And I don't see Quinnen getting like that. This is standard operating procedure in my opinion, and it's going to get done. And look, we'll talk about this and we'll segue into this. Don't forget, man, Hard Knocks is real. And if you think it's not going to be the Jets, let me just say, I would be blown away if it wasn't the Jets. A team that qualifies for HBO's Hard Knocks, they have certain prerequisites that need to be met. If you qualify and the NFL chooses you, you're not allowed to say no. So you don't think the NFL, when you look at it's the Chicago Bears, and they're interesting, right? You got Justin Fields, and you got there's just storylines. You got the Commanders. You know what I mean? Okay, Del Rio, you know what I mean? It's no quarterback, like whatever. And then the Saints, you know what I mean? And then you got Aaron Rodgers going to New York. It's a whole different deal, man. The Quinnen Williams contract thing is a big story that can add. And I don't know. I have a feeling that that's part of it. So anyway, Indy, I see why you're saying it, but I don't think it's the same. Unrelated question, inappropriate, my friend. I appreciate the super chat. You're a good dude. It is funny, but we'll leave that for another show. We'll leave that one for another show. Plus, I don't know. Zach Wilson mom's thing is think we did it, buddy. Tom Cahill checking in. Q doesn't want a long contract. He wants another one before he retires. Well, don't forget, Tom, he's only 25 years old, so he can get one. Look at guys like Calais Campbell or Fletcher Cox or all these guys. They're in their 30s. So if Quinnen Williams signs a 4-year contract, he's 29 years old, he can absolutely get another contract. But I think the thing to remember is that this is the contract. Second contract, especially when you made it all pro the year before, This is the contract, man. This is the one you fight for. You don't take less than you are realistically worth. Like, you don't let the team push you around. I get it. Like, I'm obviously all Jets, and I want us to be able to balance the budget and get them for as less, the least that they can. But the truth is Quinnen is doing the right thing, guys. I mean, this is the contract. He might tear up his back, or who knows what happens this year, next year, and this could be it. This is the one. He earned it. He met the criteria to be able to request this type of money. Get the money, dude. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You with me, Gunny? Do you see it any other way?
100%. Nah, 100%. You're right. This is going to be his moneymaker contract, right? Like, again, the anomaly is a guy like freaking Aaron Donald, right? Aaron Donald was able to do it and then get another big contract going into his 30s. That happens, I guess, in the rare situation on defense anyway of an Aaron Donald. But for Q, this is the one. This is going to be the one that go ahead pretty much sets him and his family up for life. Yeah, he'll get another contract after this. Like you said, he's 25 years old. I think right now on the table is between a 4 and a 5 year contract. This is defensive tackle, so they can go ahead and play one through their mid-30s, right? So he'll definitely get another contract. But this is going to be the biggest one he gets in his career. He knows this. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad. Listen, you've earned it. You did your thing. I don't think he should be getting Aaron Donald money. And if that was legitimately where his thought process or mind is at, then I would say, well, it's been real. Enjoy this freaking 5th-year option. Then you can enjoy this franchise tag. And then you can enjoy this franchise tag. I would be on board with understanding why I would go that route. But I do think there's more optics to it when it comes to this contract, because we do have the likes of a Garrett Wilson, a Sauce Gardner that we have to worry about in the future that we want to go ahead and pay and get them to realize we take care of our own. So Q's contract is going to set a precedent that that's just why I'm like, you know what, that $25 million mark, although that's my peak, that's the highest amount, give him $25 million average over the next 4 years, making a $100 million contract. That's coming with the fact that I do believe it sends a message to the Sauce Gardners, to the Garrett Wilsons. Hey, you do your job. You do what you're supposed to do. You keep getting better, and you're a true Jet. We're going to take care of you. It sends a message. So that's why I'm okay with that being the number. But at the end of the day, man, if it's more than that, I have a very hard time just franchise tagging the kid. I don't see how it's. I want to win championships. I would rather make sure we have him on the field while we have this Aaron Rodgers window here, than us just submitting and overpaying just because he wants to get paid like Aaron Donald over 1 year of elite play. But not going to be an issue. Q will be under contract. I'm thinking by training camp it should be done.
And that'll bring us to the what do I call this? A survey, a poll. There it is. Let's end the poll and see where you guys landed on this one. The question of the day was, will Q be traded or extended? Extended got 93% of the vote. 6% of you guys thought we should trade, or that he would be traded. Not that you necessarily thought he should be traded. Interesting. I gotta say, I have zero in the department. Like, I don't think there's not 1% of me that believes he'll be traded. You just can't do it. You just can't do it with players. Like Gunny just pointed out, the other side to this, like, in addition to, you can't lose great players. If you're going to be a great team and you found a great player, you got to keep a damn great player. You can't have the first great player that you build or that you grow yourself, and then as soon as he wants money, we get rid of it. You can't do that, because then nobody's going to play for you. Like Gunny was pointing out, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner. And then you got the guys like the Max Mitchells, like the Titmans, like everybody else coming up that could end up being great players. They're going to be like, nah, I'm out of here, when this place doesn't care about their players, no matter what Robert Saleh says. But here's the thing. I want to tell you guys something. I got a text just a few minutes ago, literally while Gunny was talking. You guys ready for this? I got a text that said, this is from the source, there is zero reason to worry about Quinnen Williams. Zero reason to worry about Quinnen Williams. That's from the source, everybody. So thank you, source. Thank you, source. All right. So look, there was a good question here from Joe Campione. Where did it go? Let's bring up our buddy Joe real quick, and then we'll get to the other super chats. Thank you, Tom. He says, who was the last Jets draft pick that retired a Jet after signing an extension. You know what's funny, Joe? The first guy that popped into my head was Mo Lewis. That ain't good. All right. So I know it's not him, but I'm thinking, well, yeah, look, through a technicality, Revis, all right, there's Revis, even though we did trade him and he ended up coming back. But there is Revis. I think I'm going to say Brian Thomas, Gunny. What do you think? Brian Thomas was a Herm Edwards, Terry Bradway draft pick. He's the guy we passed on Ed Reed for. That's how I see him. And I loved Brian Thomas. I did. He ended up being a very good ball player for us. Not Ed Reed, but very good. He was solid. He was here. I think it was 10 or 11 years, and he retired as a Jet. I don't think he played anywhere else. But is there anybody from that after that? Because you got Lavernius Coles, he bounced around. Santana Moss, we traded.
Shaw Ferguson.
Who?
Brick. Ferguson didn't go anywhere after.
Right. Yeah. Ferguson, Mangold. Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm thinking D-Brick and Mangold. Yeah. Like those guys, right. 100% Jets.
So, right. So
purebreds.
100% Jets, Joe.
Yeah.
So, but that's still a long time ago. I mean,
it's been a while. Oh, no, it's been a minute.
17
The
years.
next closest will be Revis, but if you can't count Revis because of the trade to the Patriots, then yeah, I think it does go back to D-Brick and Mangold.
Yeah, is there anybody else, guys? Who else could it be? Let us know in the chat. It's a great question, Joe. And I know, the thing we talk about, the last time that the Jets extended one of their first-round picks is Muhammad Wilkerson. I mean, outside of, as far as first-round picks, he's the last guy.
Yep.
It's crazy.
That's crazy when you think about it like that.
And you think about it, Gunny, we watched those drafts. We went in, we did our research, we went in all pumped, we watched, and they were going to amount to nothing. Not Darren Lee, it's like Leo, all these guys, they netted us nothing.
Yep.
No matter how excited we got, nothing. That's a shame, isn't it?
That's a damn shame, actually.
We got to change that.
Oh,
Quinnen
100%.
Williams, he's going to change it. That's what I think. All right, NY2. All right, I know what this means. New York to Florida Jets fan. There he is. You started this whole train. New York to Florida Jets fan. Got everybody going, this idea going from New York to Florida. I love it. Hey, guys, not only do I agree with you on Quinnen, but I actually believe it's intentional. He's having a baby, doesn't need much. Why rush? Well, it's so interesting, NY to FLA. New York to Florida, because just a week ago, or maybe it was 2 weeks, and it's not a long time, Quincy came out, his brother, and said he's having a baby. He's not even thinking about this stuff. So there's that too. Just a few days ago, it was like, dude, I'm having a baby. Everybody relax. There's nothing going on. We'll get it done. He had his head somewhere else. So granted, his agent's still working and all that stuff, but it's like there's a lot going on. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that I think Jets fans, in our intensity, and we are an intense lot. We're an intense little batch of people here. We want it done now. We want to know so we can get to the next thing to complain about, right, Connie? We want to know. We want this one done so I can find something else that I'm not happy with. That's us.
Listen, I'm sick and tired of the stress of it all, right? We're Jets fans. We're so accustomed to dealing with stress season in, season out. I just want to have an off season where we're like, oh man, look at this. No freaking worries, no concerns. Going into the season, we're healthy. I want that for me. I need that for my life. And I think, although I agree with NY to Florida Jets fan, because I'm not worried about it. Q is going to get signed. Is this more for publicity, more for us to go ahead and have something to talk about since the Aaron Rodgers trade became a thing? I don't know. Maybe Q is in cahoots with freaking the Jets. Hey, let's make a big deal about it so everybody is still stuck on us on social media. It's possible. Or like you said before, maybe they're prepping for a really, really hyped up version of freaking the HBO show. I'm having a
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. Even though I don't want it. I hope we don't get it. But you're right. It would be very, very. It'd be a surprise if we didn't get it. At this point, they haven't announced the team they're going to be doing yet. And by this time, every year since they started it, we've already known. It leads me to believe that the Jets potentially are the individuals that's going to be on Hard Knocks. But personally, I'm a big fan of just running with our own social media team doing their thing. But you're right. Why rush it? I just want it done before training camp, if I'm being honest. So I can just enjoy more training videos of Aaron Rodgers throwing beautiful balls to freaking our weapons. So that's what I want.
All right, now look, inspired by Gunny's request for a stress-free life, I put a poll question up there. I want everybody to vote on it to see if I got to say, I don't think that's real. I don't think, I mean, there are teams, right? Like you think about the Ravens fans, even with the Lamar shit this year, they're like, whatever, it's going to get done. The Pats for 25 years, they always felt like, dude, I trust my organization. Whatever they do, they let this guy go. It's going to be fine. The Steelers, they never worry. They never complain. Can we possibly get to, I can't imagine it. Every year it's like, that's bullshit. Like that's what we live. I can't even imagine. You know what's funny? Back in 1998, right? So we had Parcells. And we did the whole, I was working at AT&T at the time. Now I was freight and I had a mail, like I had this huge 2,400 person floor that I delivered freight packages to and all that kind of stuff. So I'd once a day or twice a day, I'd go around with my cart and I'd go see all my cute secretaries and I'd flirt with them. And then I had some executives that I had to go see. There was this one executive, he's a diehard Jets fan. And he had season tickets and the whole thing. We went through 1998 together, the disappointment and everything. And then in 1999, I go to Cleveland to welcome the Cleveland Browns back. And I go watch the Jets game in a Cleveland bar. And Vinny Testaverde tears his Achilles and the whole fucking thing. And we come back. I go see him. We lose the game. I come back and see him. And he's sitting in his office. He looks 20 years older, right? I swear to God. I said, dude, you okay? And he's like, bro. And this is an executive. He's probably in his 50s at the time. He says, I literally sat outside that stadium before the game, smoking a cigar, looking at the building, thinking, this must be what the Niners fans and the Cowboys fans, this must be what they feel like. The Jets were the number one team chosen to win the Super Bowl that year. Like we made it to the championship game. We added Steve Atwater and a few other really nice pieces. And he said, I sat there thinking, this is what it feels. We're the best team in the league, man. And he goes, and it didn't last one game. We lost it all. We're looking at Tom Tupa, the punters throwing passes. Like, it's just the way it is for us, man. I don't know if it's real, dude. So anyway, answer the question in the poll. See if Gunny's request, see if we think Gunny's request can actually come to fruition. I'll tell you what, I hope so, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. Now, Indy,
I don't think it's possible.
I know. It's like, right, we want it. We can still hope, though, right, Gunny?
We can hope. We can hope. Yeah, we can hope.
Yeah. Indy's following up, and he says, I got that. I think we're all on the same page with the Q thing, but he says Joe's going to piss him off. That's what he does. Who else did Joe Douglas piss off that was worth a shit? Like who? Like Colecchio? I mean, and this is a serious question. I'm trying to think. I'm like,
nobody.
Who else does he piss off? I mean, you got the whole Colecchio Assembly thing, right? And the Colecchio Assembly's, dude, the Jets said you don't need the guy's fine. He wanted to take the rest of the year off and get paid. And they said, no, he went to the Chiefs. He played a little bit and he's out of the league. Right. So, or whatever, he's a backup or whatever the hell he is. So then you had the Marcus May thing, which at the time, I think a lot of Jets fans were split. Like, hey, Marcus May needs to be paid. And all. But you look at it, Joe Douglas offered him a contract. Mm-hmm. He had him for 2 more years under contract, with the franchise. He said, I have this guy for 2 more years at this money. And I'll offer you this, but there's no security in that, so I'll give you this. And it turned out he was hiding the DUI. Yep. He tore his Achilles. He said no. He tore his Achilles. Joe was offering him security and a good contract, not exorbitant contract. He gave him the contract he was worth.
Yep.
And then he goes. So his agent holds the hard line, goes into the media, says Joe Douglas the worst GM, blah blah blah. And what ends up happening? Marcus May goes and signs with the Texans.
I think it's the Saints.
Saints or the Texans? Yeah. Okay. And then, but he ended up, Marcus May lost. I think it was a net total over 2 years of $7 or $9 million. He accepted a deal less than Joe Douglas.
That was less than what Joe. Yep. Facts.
Like, so what? I mean, that's the thing. Like, we think with our emotions in. And we're fans. We're allowed to do that shit. And I always say that. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. You're a fan, man. We have the right
100%.
to feel. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean we're necessarily correct, but we have the right to feel any way we want to feel. We're fans, and we'll enjoy this or not the way we want to, damn it. But does Joe Douglas piss people off in your opinion?
No, I don't think so. I think Joe is going to be that guy that's going to hold a firm line. He's not going to be bullied or pushed around by individuals. Like this whole thing with Q taking his stuff off social media did not faze Joe one bit. This isn't what Joe Douglas is going to do. He's not going to get upset about it or be forced into making a decision that's irrational. He's always thinking not in the current, but also long term, right? And in this situation, the only person that we can honestly say that was worth a damn that Joe Douglas probably pissed off was probably Jamal Adams. But who's arguing about the return we got for Jamal Adams that has now turned into freaking Elijah Vera Tucker and Garrett Wilson? Like, right. You would do that trade a million times over. You're going to give up a box safety, granted all-pro box safety, to get potentially an all-pro freaking guard and a potentially all-pro wide receiver in return. That's not even in question. So the only person Joe really ever pissed off was probably Jamal. Like he went out of his way to go ahead and express it on social media. But what has Jamal Adams done since he's left the Jets?
Nothing.
Nothing. He's been a non-factor since he left the Jets. So for me, if Joe Douglas is not willing to make a move or budge, I'm 100% on board with that because I now trust Joe in regards to his judgment of what players' values are, what they bring to the table. He hasn't failed us in that regard.
Yeah, I think I agree. And it's not to say, Indy, I'm not calling you wrong or anything. We're just exploring the subject. But I see your comment about Q's gun charge. I got to say, I think you're reaching, buddy. You know what I mean? Like Q's gun charge isn't the same. It's like you got to look at motivations, right? Like, was Q in the airport like, hey, man, give me those damn chips. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't saying anything like that. Let me on the plane. He's from Alabama, and there are different gun laws there. I mean, Billy, dude, listen, I live in a place, Indy, and I know you travel. I forget where you are right now, but I know you're a well-traveled individual. So but like where I live now, literally, I walk into the store and there are people with holsters. I shit you not, man. Like that's where I live. I got a fucking knife in my pocket right now. I gotta fit in somehow. You know what I mean? So that's the way that it is. And it's coming from Alabama and there was no bullets in it. He's just traveling. He just had his gun on him. I don't know. I mean, I don't pretend to know all the details, but clearly it wasn't that big of a deal. He's a good boy, that Q. I like him. He's a good boy, I say. But anyway, I think it's really difficult to compare the Quinnen Williams situation with the Jamal Adams situation, especially because we're talking about we have plenty of time too, and there's no Adam Gase, there's none of that stuff going on right now, Anyway, and then you could say Elijah Moore was pissed, but that wasn't nothing to do with Joe Douglas. That was all Mike LaFleur. So interesting. I get where you're going. I don't know if I can come there with you, but I see it. V-Man checking in. What's up, V-Man? GreenBean, what do you think of the organizing Jets fans to flood Gillette at the end of the season, all in stealth black to symbolize Bill's funeral as the head coach? Well, number one, I like the idea. Like there's been these MetLife takeovers, right? The last decade or so. Like all of our divisional fans and even other fans, like Raiders fans and Cowboys fans and Steelers fans, they look at coming to MetLife and playing the Jets as the trip to make. Like if you're going to spend $1,000, travel in the country and go into a game and buy into, why not go see the game that your team's likely to win, right? Makes it more fun. Nobody wants to drive 8 hours or get on a 4-hour flight and nobody wants to do that shit if you're going to go lose, right? If you can avoid it. So the last decade, we've seen a lot of MetLife takeovers. That's going to stop, and it's stopping. It started to stop, last year, the end of the year, obviously, but we still had a lot more fans there at the end of the year than usual or than, recent past. And I think that shit's over for this year, unless we just come out and completely, crumble to pieces or something like that. But I think going to our division opponents' team, stadiums and doing little takeovers, I think would be appropriate. Really nice to see the tables turn. Now, especially with the Patriots. Now, it would be real nice to see them actually assume the bottom end of our division, but I don't know. Gunny, that's some loud tapping you got there, buddy.
I'm only trying to respond to.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I just never heard it so loud.
I just saw Star City taking his anger on his keyboard. My bad. I thought I had you on mute.
No, you're good. So as far as Bills, you think Bill? So look, I think the insinuation here is that if Bill Belichick sucks this year, if the Patriots suck, that would show that, what is this, the 4th year without Tom Brady? If he's like a 6-11 team or something like that, 7-10, then that means that Bill's going to be fired. I don't think Bill Belichick's getting fired from up there. Now, would he retire? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Bill Belichick's going to – I don't know. What do you think, Gunny? Like, number one, I'm a fan of going up there, and I like wearing stealth black, even if he doesn't end his career as a head coach. It's symbolic, right? Wear the black and, your funeral, the Patriots. But, let's not assume the Patriots are going to suck yet either, man. I mean, they're still the Patriots, and we've still not beaten them. So there's that whole thing. But what do you think about that, Gunny? Do you think Bill Belichick is, like, if he has a losing season, four subpar seasons without Tom Brady, you think that kind of shows him the door, or you think he'll retire, or Kraft forces him out, or any of that stuff?
I think this is it, if I'm being honest. There's been so many rumblings about Kraft already putting mandates on what he's expecting for this season. I follow all the AFC East social medias. I'm on there. There's a guy named Master at Work that's big and really vocal when it comes to the Patriots, and I follow him, and he seems to be in the know for a lot of things. Belichick is potentially right now on the hot seat, and I'm not gonna lie to you, GreenBean. I know you said like it's the Patriots, we can't take them for granted. They're trash. I think without Tom Brady, the Patriots are trash. We've lost to the Patriots twice now with Zach Wilson at the helm, because Zach Wilson he sees ghosts, right? Like, he's for some reason, young quarterbacks, Bill Belichick has the ability to go ahead and make those guys see things that aren't there. Zach Wilson should have won both games last season, and the defense just demolished whatever lack of talent or whatever the roster was. I don't think they're good. Their roster is trash. I don't think Bill Belichick is this genius we've all made him out to be. I think Tom Brady was just that dude. I think Tom Brady was literally that dude, and it was proven. He left the Patriots, went to Tampa, and the moment they said, hey, Tom, you know what? Our offense is struggling a little bit. We're at freaking 500. How about we do what you feel comfortable with? They won a freaking Super Bowl just listening to Tom. To me, Bill Belichick is the most overrated freaking coach of all time. Yeah, I'm saying it. I think he's the most overrated coach of all time. This is the benefit of having the GOAT at quarterback. Does it suck to say that? Yes, it sucks to say that Tom Brady was really that guy, that he was the best quarterback of all time. It hurts my soul to admit it. And I was on that bandwagon of believing he was a systems quarterback that benefited from the genius Bill Belichick. Then I saw him leave the Patriots, take a Tampa Bay team to the Super Bowl, win it, while the Patriots decided to go on a downward spiral. I can see this being his last season. I think that if they don't have a winning season this year, he might potentially be on a hot seat to getting fired. And there is no joking when I say this. I think the Bills will sweep them. I think the Jets will sweep them, and I think the Dolphins, without Tua, will sweep the freaking Patriots this season.
Oh, that would be
the roster is not scary. There's nobody on that roster we should be scared of, with the exception of their running back. I forget his name right now, but the running back is pretty freaking impressive. But they should be getting swept by every other team in the AFC East. In fact, they're probably the only team this offseason that really didn't get better, and they weren't that good last year. So for me, I think this could be it. This could be the year we get to see Bill Belichick disappear from the coaching realms of the NFL. Go back to college. You know what I'm saying? Go play with Saban or something. Just go away. I think this could be the year.
Coordinator.
Exactly. Right. We see it come to fruition.
So V-Man, Gunny's on board. Now, look, Gunny, let's say our season's going great and that's happening. And would you go up to Gillette you think you'd be motivated to go up there if there was 10,000 Jets fans going up?
Yes.
With their black.
100%.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't care what. I'll
if that
be
happens,
if,
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'll be there. I'm taking the wife to go to Salem. I think we're going in October. So she's been wanting to go for a long time. We've been planning this trip. So, crap, I haven't told her that yet.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be.
Well, she's not here right now.
Tact.
So I'm taking her to Salem, right? And my goal was to go to Gillette Stadium because it's on my bucket list of stadiums I want to actually visit, just so I can be a Jets fan in enemy territory.
Well, let me ask you, why are you going to Salem? Tell me why.
My wife is really big into like Halloween, like one of her favorite seasons. So it goes Christmas then Halloween. Huge, big on it. She's into that whole witch stuff, the ghost stuff. Like me personally. Yep, exactly. She has. So for me, I'm one of those guys who I love scary movies, but I like scary movies that are like more realistic, like Saw, Scream, serial killer type stuff. Like I'm into those stuff that involves spirituality and stuff. I feel like if you open up the gateway by embracing that kind of stuff, spiritual stuff. Look, I'm a pretty good fighter. I can fight somebody with a gun, somebody with a knife. I can't fight spirits. So I try to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? This is a different game altogether, right? But she's into it. So we're gonna go to Salem for a week. And she's gonna go ahead and get the experience that whole thing, get to see some witches, all that crap, all that good stuff. Hopefully, I get to step away and go to a game.
There you go. You sneak out. Be like, I'm gonna go get some cigarettes.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Oh yeah, I'll be to 5 minutes.
I'm interested. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see what it's all about. You know what I'm saying?
You've been gone for 6 hours. So let me say that if you need any tips on tours in Salem, we spent some time in Salem on our tour. I love.
Oh yes, please.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm just on Google right now trying to figure it all out. I've never been. So I'm just trying to make it the best experience for her. Yeah. So I'll just hit you up.
Yeah, there's we did some research on tours. There are tours that are more fun than others. Okay. And there are tours that are more entailed. And we went on a tour, man, and they were great, man. Like they were just so interactive anyway, there's a lot of fun to be had. If your wife knows the backstory of Salem, which it sounds like she does.
She does.
Dude, it's the best actually being able to put eyes on and like the well is there. Like it's all still there, dude. So really? It's an amazing place. Okay. And it's cool too. Like there's a lot of great restaurants. There's a lot. It's not like walking into 1700s or anything, but it's a lot of those buildings are still there. It's really cool. We can talk about it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk. Yeah, we got.
I have some information. I have a Salem Salem magnet.
A Salem Connect. You got a Salem Connect.
Yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy in Salem. Now let me just say, I see Tom Cahill's making fun of my knife in the chat. Let me just say now, while I have bigger knives, this is the one I carry. This is a Smith & Wesson. This is no joke, buddy. Look at this thing. This is not a toy. See this, Tom Cahill? It looks small, but you see, this is a Smith & Wesson. This is not a joke. This will do some damage. This is sharp as shit, my friend.
And Navy SEALs get issued those knives.
Yeah.
So he's
a Navy
not
SEAL
lying.
knife. And then I got my Gerber in the car, man. That thing I can cut through.
I'm a Gerber guy.
I can cut through, 5-gallon or 50-gallon drums of steel with that.
Yeah. Marines get issued Gerbers. And I love that thing. That thing was it's a lifesaver, especially when you're doing freaking survival training. That thing I'm a Gerber guy. The Smith & Wesson thing. I love their guns. The knives. I never really use the knives, but the Navy SEALs get issued those. But I'm definitely a Gerber guy.
Yeah, me too. I like American steel if I can. You know what I mean? I like it to be made here. But yeah. So anyway. So take that, Tom Cahill. One's not to be trifled, not to be laughed at. All right, let's see what we got here. So we also want to talk a little bit about Carl Lawson today, but I want to make sure that we get to your comments. Blitz Crew checking in. Excuse me. Thanks, buddy. He says, we will have a stress-free offseason after the Jets dynasty. Bilal Powell is the last guy drafted retired that I see. That's a great poll, Blitz Crew.
That's a great one.
Bilal Powell.
BP, that's true.
Funny? And here's a funny thing. Let me tell you. Now, I wasn't quite as deep into the draft then as I am now, but I was definitely a guy who knew what was going on. It was different era, man. Like we didn't have the information that we have now. But I remember I loved Bilal Powell as a Jet. But when we drafted him, I literally went, come on! That's what I did when we drafted Bilal Powell. So
I was not excited about it either. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was like, what? Come on, this guy. But he ended up being something, man. I really loved Bilal Powell. It's a shame because he was on a lot of bad teams, but he was always looked at as the second or third guy. And I think he really could have, if somebody would have just said, you know what, we're going with Bilal. We'll get a young kid behind him. I think he could have done something. I really do. Whenever he had the ball, he was exciting, man. Very good awareness.
He was
great moves. A lot of really. Just a lot of talent. And I don't think any coaching staff really gave him the true opportunity that maybe he should have gotten. You know what I mean? I love Bilal.
No, I'm a big fan of Bilal Powell. But not just as a football player too, but as a person. Like, so there's good football players that you enjoy on the field, but then you realize, like, out of uniform, they're just like scumbags, right? Like, you're like, man, I would never want, you know what I'm saying, like my children to befriend these individuals or look at them as like idols or freaking people they want to inspire to be. Bilal Powell was that dude, though. I think Bilal Powell was one of those guys who was great on the field for us, was also a great person. And that's a beautiful combination, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, he's a good dude. That's what you find too. Like we treat a lot of these guys like they make a mistake on the field and we make a big deal. Hey, this fucking asshole, blah blah. And it's like they end up being great guys. They're just they made a mistake, man. I think we, especially like you look at a great example is like the Mekhi Becton, like he tore his knee or whatever, and they said he'll be back in 6 to 8 weeks, and then it was. And Jets fans like on Twitter, and we we attacked him, and he's a kid. He was 22 years old, and we're like yelling at you, suck, lose some weight, and it's like he's actually a funny guy. He's a nice young guy. It's like we're attacking this person. His knee blew. He's like nobody's as disappointed as he is, man. You know what I mean? So anyway. I think, looking at these guys as people, I think can shift your perspective too. Matt O'Leary in the house. He's letting you know Master at Work sucks eggs.
Hey, let me clarify, Matt. I'm not saying I'm a fan of the guy. All he does is talk shit. Like literally everything he does is just about him talking shit. But I will tell you this. He's also one of those guys, if you do follow him, if you have, is very honest about his team. And I can appreciate that. Like in terms of somebody who I would say is like, oh, I want to get you on a show and chop it up with you, that wouldn't be the case. But if you're looking to get legitimate like dirt and interpretations to what's going on with the freaking Patriots, like that guy is like what's the dude, the Dolphins dude? He's I forget his name, TD Finch talk. Like he'll talk shit about his own team, but like when you look at it, it's factual stuff. He's not making up stuff. And for me, I'm like, I can appreciate somebody who's okay, I get it. You're a fan. And you're going to go ahead and talk shit about us because that's true. Like, Jets fans will talk shit about other freaking teams, but we'll all be like, man, our quarterback sucks. Zach Wilson was a liability. We can all be real about that. I can appreciate other fan bases that can do that, and very few can. But Master at Work will not tell you he thinks freaking Mac Jones is trash, right? He thinks freaking Bill Belichick has not been relevant since the loss of Tom Brady. Freaking TD Finch talk will tell you that Tua has a freaking losing record against freaking top 10 defenses, or when he doesn't complete. Like, I can appreciate those guys' perspectives. So yeah, I just so we know, man, I'm not saying like this is one of my boys or somebody I would love to chop it up with. Like I said before. No. I like to go ahead and know what our enemies are thinking. And sometimes you got to keep your enemies close. And Master at Work does a very good job of giving us information.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, maybe we'll see if we can have Master at Work on. He and I he harassed me for like 2 months or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, at one point it was all through DM. I said to him, dude, who are you? I don't even know what this is. Why are you fucking bothering? What is it? So anyway, he made a video. I actually never watched it. He sent me the link. He said he made a video of me. And I think, and maybe Richie and some other people, of my prediction for the Pats game, and then my reaction to the Pats game. Right. So you like cut it together. I never saw that.
Yeah.
So.
I never saw it either, but I have seen him chop up some people's reactions and stuff, and he definitely spends a lot of time editing videos to further his agenda.
Right.
I can say that.
So I know Richie said he's going to try to get me on the AFC roundtable this year. We'll see. I watched it a couple times. Richie was it was like the first year he was on there.
Yeah.
But I haven't been over there in a long time. But Braden checking in. What's up, Braden? Good to see you, buddy. Glad you made it over. We started early tonight, so we're almost, we gotta see how this time switch thing is going to work out. I think it's going okay.
It's going good.
Right,
it's going good.
So, all right, let's see what else we got here. And then we're going to talk about some Carl Lawson. New York to Florida checking back in. Thank you, buddy. He says, Belichick will never be fired. He will retire and then get rehired. A whole move. What does that say? La whole move with Jets, in my opinion.
I think he meant to say asshole move with the Jets.
A whole move with the Jets, in my opinion. Tad overrated.
Tad overrated, but enjoyed. I don't think Salah's overrated though. Like, people have said what I think the majority of us said. Hey, Salah's a great motivator. You know what I'm saying? He's a player's coach. But between the X's and O's, sometimes as a tactician, we don't know what he can be. I think that's been the norm in regards to what Coach Salah is. And I think the majority of us can say, like, yeah, he's a great motivational speaker. He's definitely a player's coach. He definitely trying to motivate guys. But when it comes to the X's and O's, like, man, strategy-wise, he needs work. I think that's fair. I wouldn't say he's overrated because of that. But I will say this. People are going to think I'm crazy when I say this, right? I'm a huge believer in, yes, coaches do matter. But players win games. At the end of the day, if you don't have the talent, you're not going to be able to win games. What Brian Dable did last year, to me, is why it's so impressive, because that was coaching. That was a coach that took scrubs to the playoffs, right? Saquon Barkley is arguably the best player that's scary on that offense, and they were able to get to the playoffs, granted in the NFC. But a lot of times, man, I'm a big believer, if you could be the greatest coach in the world, if you don't got the players, it doesn't matter. You need players to go ahead and do things. And I think when it comes to Salah, we're just starting to see him now. Last year, we saw when his defense had playmakers, went from the 32nd ranked defense to the 4th best defense. That's ridiculous. I don't think people are giving enough credit to how ridiculous of a jump that is. But you're right. At the end of the day, we need to see wins. It needs to resonate in wins. The quarterback was a liability last year. It won't be this year. If the Jets don't win 10 plus games this year, it's 100% coaching. It's 100% coaching. There is nothing you can tell me otherwise that it isn't coaching, because you've got the playmakers on defense, you've got the playmakers on offense, you've got an elite quarterback. Even if he's a top 10 guy, this is a guy at any given time can win you a game. If you can't win 10 plus games this year and make the playoffs and win in the playoffs, sorry, it's coaching. So to me, this is the year we can actually figure out whether or not Coach Salah can really be an NFL head coach in the NFL. Like, that's just my thought.
I mean, I think it's kind of hard to overrate Salah, New York to Florida, if that's in fact what you're saying. I think I was feeling the same thing. But I think it's hard because he hasn't really done anything. I mean, he was part of a long-term rebuild. I mean, he's going into year 3, right? So if we ignore progress, then we ignore progress. But there is significant progress from year 1 to year 2. I mean, we had the 32nd ranked defense. And last year we had, in many metrics, the number 1 defense. In most metrics, top 5. So, I mean, that is crazy.
That's insane.
That's a crazy jump.
Never been done before in the NFL. Not that kind of a jump. Never been done before in the NFL.
You would expect like 32, maybe 15, 13 is a great jump. Look at that. Yep. We have hope that we can improve. I mean, we were so damn good that, dude, we were holding teams to no touchdowns for weeks and weeks on end. We had 6 one-score losses, and the offense only scored a field goal or a touch. Like, we were losing. We lost those games with our defense holding teams to 10 points or less.
Insane.
7 points. No touchdowns in 2 games. Like, it's really something, man. And you got to give that to Salah. You got to give it to him, right, Gunny?
100%. And people are going to tell you, oh, well, you guys faced freaking the backup quarterbacks. Every time I hear that, I'm like, cool. Those teams also face the 34th ranked quarterback in the NFL. and they still lost, or they couldn't blow us out, right? Our defense was on the field so much that it gave opportunities for teams to just annihilate us because it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So, but then they forget, like, we also held teams like, quarterbacks like freaking Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, freaking Jared Goff, who was crushing it on offense. Like, those players didn't all of a sudden, they blew us out of the water, and we stacked our stats on weaker teams or backups. Those guys couldn't score too. It was universal across the board. I can understand if, like, we're going up against those backups and we're playing really well, and then against starting quarterbacks we were getting smoked out. No, starting quarterbacks were getting the same smoke by this defense. So it wasn't an anomaly. Josh Allen, thank you, Kadaza. Josh Allen, another example. Like, these guys lived across the board, all of them were held to significantly lower statistics than they were averaging in the NFL by this defense. So talk your crap. Talk the junk about, y'all also played 6 freaking backup quarterbacks. Cool. There were 11 teams we played their starting quarterbacks. And those guys couldn't do it to us either. So we're excused. So every time I get agitated and people really start to pull the frustration out of me, and I'm like, you're retarded. If you looked at it in regards to the whole picture, there's more to it than that. You're just looking to go ahead and push your agenda. So, yeah, I got to get off that my chest. This defense is disgusting. and it's disgusting. And it was the first year we saw Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed work together, right? And it can only get better. Like, this was the first year of this team, this defense working the way they did. And we had rookies dominate. We had Sauce Gardner dominating the NFL. He can get better. I'm pumped about this defense. I agree. I'm so pumped about this defense.
Yeah, me too, man. It's got to be about health, man. And we stay healthy. Like, this is year 2 in the system, guys. The Buffalo Bills became the Buffalo Bills because they kept their defense together for 5 and 6 years in most instances. They just started losing players last year. I mean, those guys were together the whole time. And then you can add and you can weather offensive ups and downs when your defense is locked down. They led the league like what? They were at least tied in the league for like 2 or 3 years in a row in plus for takeovers. Takeaways. So, I mean, dude, that shit is big, and that's how you do it. You keep guys together in the system. They no longer have to think. They react. They know exactly what the other players are going to do, where they're going to be. That stuff takes a minute. You know what I mean? And here we are. We're going into the second year in the system. Third year for some guys, like a Quinnen Williams. It'll be his third year in this system. So that'll be a benefit as well. That's what we got to do. And I think we're looking at guys like Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed improving as they play together. And, dude, if we improve on what we were seeing, it's going to be great. Now watch this. Gunny, this is funny. New York to Florida says, not Saleh, Salem.
Okay. my apologies.
That's so good. No,
Salem is overrated.
Yeah. He said Salem's a tad over. All right, there it is. Okay, so there it is.
Okay. All right.
Salem is a tad overrated. That's funny, man. That is pretty funny. Well, look, it's overrated if you're going in there cold, right? Like, but if you're going in there with his wife is passionate about the theme,
for the record,
on there. And
I wanted us to go back to Costa Rica, but she's been talking about. That's what I want to go. But she's been so adamant about this freaking trip. I was like, you know what? This is get it over with. I'll take her to the freaking.
That's right, man. Hey, listen, Gunny. Here's a word of advice: don't be grumpy. Don't be grumpy.
Oh no, I won't be. I'm gonna be smiling and.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's crazy. This is where this raggedy witch was buried. This is all. Like, I'm gonna play the role.
You should read The Crucible. Is a book. It's this thin. If you haven't read it, it's one of the easiest reads in the world. It's this. It's a little tiny paperback. You can read it in a. I mean, dude, I read it. I read The Crucible on a 4-day river trip, at night. I read the whole thing from beginning to end. We were, rafting down the Snake River. We had 5 days and 4 nights. I picked up The Crucible night 1, and I was done with it by night 4. And that's how easy it is to read. But anyway, it's if you do that, if you read that book and just understand that shit really happened.
That's
Like the
crazy
Crucible is a little bit of a dramatization, but it's essentially what happened. The names are the same. Those are the real people that happened, man. If you do that going in there and then see everything, it's going to be different. You're going to be like, wow, this is holy shit. This happened here. You know, it's
Then
cool.
I'll read it. To me, I got to find some way to be excited about this trip because I know she's going to be, and I got to match and mirror, right? So if I have the ability to go ahead and have something that I can relate it to, I'm a historian, so I'll find a way to make that work. So I'll look that book up.
Yeah, the Crucible is an easy. I mean, there's a ton more. You know what I mean? You know what the great thing about Salem is? It just so happens to be that the Puritans, which is who it's about, you know, they were the ones burning witches.
Yep.
They documented every detail, like to the penny, to the second. Every detail is documented, so it's all real. That's just who they were. You know what I mean? They were very organized, very
it's like
official.
A documentary.
Yeah, so you should watch. There's probably 100 documentaries on Salem. You'll watch. It's you can get into it. I did. Because I knew I was going, so I did all that shit. But yeah, man, good for you. And then you'll enjoy it with your wife instead of being like, oh yeah. Anyway,
I'm all about getting the points. Trying to go ahead and put some credit in the bank with the wife is always a good thing.
That's right, man. You know, it's all about give and take, Gunny. You know, if anybody knows, it's Gunny. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Jason Edwards checking in. What's up, buddy? Thank you. He says, agreed. My most painful half of football was the second half of the Patriots game.
Bad,
Once it finished, I just turned off the TV. The worst. I know, dude, check this out. So I went to the Virginia Jets fan club where Y2K is the president. Yep. We went over there, and I think that was my first time over there. Oh, no, that was last year. So I brought my son with me. So we were there. Everybody's excited. Zach looked really good in that first quarter and into the second quarter. He looked really good. And then it started to crumble, right? It started with the pick six that they took away because the JFM touched Mac Jones too softly. They didn't like it. And then they did the whole, Zach threw the picks before the half and the whole fucking thing. Watching that game slip away and watching they put Mike White's helmet on and he's standing on the sideline and you're thinking, Zach, he's just crumbling before our eyes, and they wanted to keep him out there and let him overcome it. And it was so, dude, when we lost, I couldn't believe we lost that game. I couldn't believe it. I was dumbfoundedly frustrated. And I had a 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour ride home, from the Virginia Jets fan club driving home. It was miserable. I couldn't believe it, dude. I thought I was going to go out there. It was going to be so exciting with the fan club. Yeah. I'm with you, Jason Edwards. That was one of the most, that might have been, because that's kind of where the season turned. We only won, we beat Buffalo the next week, which was the best moment of the season. Then we went into the bye, came out, lost to the Patriots again in that turd. And then we had the win against the Bears, and then that was it. So it was kind of where the season started to veer off from where we were heading. And it's just amazing, man. Like Bill Belichick has done it to our young quarterbacks time after time after time. And it's just the worst, man. That has to be, that's why it's so great to have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be stymied by Buffalo's defenses and his schemes and his tricks in the same way that a Zach or a Sam were these last, 5 years that we watched those guys. It's going to be a lot different, Gunny.
Yeah, Jason, I could not agree with you more. I remember watching that game and knowing by the third quarter, like, we're going to find a way to lose it. Like, it wasn't one of those things where I thought to myself, like, we're gonna get together. And I was like, nope, somehow Bill Belichick is going to beat us in this game. And then when it happened, I don't think I watched any more football for the rest of the day. I remember turning off the TV, and my wife was, of course, trying to be supportive, which made it worse because I was so adamant that we were going to beat the Patriots this season or last season. And so I was like, could you just leave me alone? You just go watch your game. I'm going to just be in the room for a while. Like, I literally went into my bedroom. I didn't watch football for the rest of the day. And it went into my work week. Like, I hate the Patriots so much. I don't think I can express enough how much I hate the Patriots because they're the only team that the Jets can lose to. And even with Tom Brady, when they were the better team, it hit me in an emotional level of life that I just couldn't control. I do a very good job at trying to control like emotions and stuff. I hate the Patriots with so much passion and disdain that when they beat us, it takes me a day or two to get over it. And that game took me a week. I could not literally get over it until we beat the Bills the following week. Thank God it wasn't a bye week, because I feel like if it had been a bye week afterwards, it would have just lingered and I would have been miserable for 2 weeks. Hate the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know what's interesting too is that it's like my whole life, like the Dolphins were the big rivalry, and now when I was in my early 20s, it was, you know, the Bills were the king of the AFC East. They had the 4 Super Bowls with Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, all Andre Reed, and on and on and on. They were the cream of the crop. And we went for a long stretch without beating them. It was unbelievable the year that we actually beat them. But even with all that, I never hated them like I hated the Dolphins. And I still have that old connection to my Dolphin hatred. But the Pats, dude, what they've done to us the last 20 years, man. And like nobody gets it. Like, think about this. Aaron Rodgers, I think, what was the stat? Aaron Rodgers only played Tom Brady head to head twice in his career.
Yeah.
2 times?
That's it.
Like, that's all that the NFL figured out how to get those. Like, we played them twice every single year while they were a dynasty. And it's bullshit because, you know, like, number one, obviously, we know all the stuff about the Pats being allowed to hold. They've been caught cheating 4 times. Like, caught cheating 4 times, filming things, deflating balls, also like that's just the stuff they were caught for that made it out. There's Bill Belichick should have been, he's never even been suspended a game. Never, not once. It's like they've condoned. And then in addition to that, like it just so happens, oh yeah, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback ever to play, happens to be among the cheapest starting quarterback. What is that? Well, because the team happened to be the number 1 customer of his other company. Like, this is so clear. Like, why do we allowed them to pull all the strings they could to be that dynasty, and we're over here just hapless, lowly fans. Watch it. We can do nothing. We can do nothing to stop it, and it's bullshit, man. And the fact that it's starting to look like it might be going the other way, like Joe Beningo said, we can't beat them bad enough. We can't. It can be 120-1. And if there's still 2 minutes left in the game, I want to see Zach Wilson on the field. I want to see Aaron Rodgers drinking champagne on the sideline, eating caviar. And I want to see Zach Wilson throw another damn touchdown. I just don't care. I want to see us rub their faces in as many dog turds as we can find, for both games this year. And their fans can eat it too, man. They've been brutal over the years, so condescending, and like I'm just so sick of them, man. I'm with you. It's like, even though my childhood, like that rivalry with the Dolphins, it's still very real, but the hatred is for the Pats. It's like, I hope that I would love nothing more for that franchise to hit such hard times that they just crumble and have to be disbanded and sold off by pieces. Oh God, yes. You know what I mean? Please. I wouldn't even bat it. I wouldn't shed a tear, dude. I
would throw a party. I would throw a party, and it would be the most extravagant party. Forget my birthday, forget my kids' birthdays, forget my anniversaries. If the Patriots got demolished to the point where they were like, "Are you guys even really an NFL caliber team?" I would throw a party. You're all invited. It would be an extravagant party. We would be popping bottles and having a blast. I hate them so much. I see some people in there talking about the Bills and you know what? The Bills, I get it. I understand. Look at, again, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, rivals, 100%. But I despise the Patriots. I despise, like, I'm not even going to say it on air because the hate I have for them is so deep that it craters on darkness. So I won't say it because it's just not right. But, like, that's a team that there's no limits to, like, how bad I would like them to suffer in life. That's how much I hate that team. I despise them. I'll leave it at that. because this is the family show.
Yeah, right. I think we've gotten the point across. Now, let's talk a little bit about Carl Lawson before we lose track here. Now, Carl Lawson today, guys. Well, first of all, disinfo, right? I mean, the NFL literally ordered their tapes to be destroyed. There was another whole thing that we lost all the tapes. It's like,
so I'm just on that alone. I'm not sure if you've ever seen The Blacklist. You ever seen The Blacklist?
No.
Okay, great TV show. It's on Netflix now if y'all ever want to watch it. But in all actuality, the Patriots are Raymond Reddington, right? They're the number one most hated, most wanted criminal in all of the world. But they decided to go ahead and sign a deal with the devil, i.e. the NFL. And they got to go ahead and pretty much prosper and do whatever the fuck they wanted, at the expense of every other freaking NFL franchise, and they couldn't be touched. Every time I think about it, I'm like, man, they're the Raymond Reddington of the NFL. And some of y'all might get that, some of y'all might not, but The Blacklist, if you ever watched it, Raymond Reddington equates to the New England Patriots. Everybody hates them. They're disgusted by them. They're grossed out. They're even in agreements with them. But they've got immunity. They can go ahead and just do whatever the hell they want to do while shitting on every other freaking team. And there's no consequences to their actions. That's what I correlate them to.
It really is. It's unbelievable. Belichick never suspended. And look at the Brady thing. Again, we've talked about it, but when he went down to Tampa, the whole thing with negotiating with the Dolphins lose a first-round pick. Their owner gets suspended. Brady, nothing. And then not only nothing, but when the Bucks played the Dolphins in the preseason, Brady got 10 days off, and they didn't even explain where he was. They weren't allowed to ask him a question. What is that?
I don't.
Excused absence or whatever it was. Look at Rusty real quick. We'll get to Carlo. It's a great comment, though. And it's so important to point this out, man. In our division, we had to deal with Marino, Kelly, Brady, Peyton Manning before they did the the reorganization of the divisions. I mean, dude, it's unbelievable here. I mean,
that's true, though.
Right, it really is.
Damn,
we've had,
that is so true.
It's been terrible, so now it's finally time. Look, we went and got a great quarterback. Look, we tried in the draft. It didn't work. All right, great. If the whole Zach Wilson behind Aaron Rodgers thing can work and we can get some, a nice young quarterback, you push reset, give him a second chance, slow it down, get 2-3 years out of Aaron Rodgers, and then Zach Wilson comes in. Great. We'll do it that way. But we needed something big to change this. We needed it. We have the team. And look, you got to credit Joe Douglas. I see some comments in there about Joe Douglas being unproven. I mean, dude, look, it's very, very simple. We can get caught in the weeds about semantics. There are moves I hate. There are moves I like. There are moves I think, scratch my head. There are moves I think are brilliant. There are trades. We can get caught in the woods on all this stuff. Who's paid, who's not. Just look at the team and our reputation and who we were when Joe Douglas accepted the job. And look at the team, our reputation, and who we are right now.
Yep.
Okay? That's the difference. Okay? If you can't see that, if you can't see the forest through all the trees, then I can't help you. I can't see it. There's too many trees. Well, that is the forest that you're looking at it. Like, if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. It's a distinctly different organization. And we had 12 years of complete ineptitude. Even the Bowls year, the 2015, that was great. That was that was a very, very fortunate string of events. And look, it ended up in complete misery, and we didn't even make it to the playoffs. So I don't want to hear about that being a successful year. It was fun. We had a fun year. Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Chris Ivory, Fitzpatrick. It was a fun year. Revis was back. Cromartie was back. But we didn't do shit. We lost to Rex. All we needed to do was win, and we were in, and we couldn't do it. So that's not to. We had 12 years of complete ineptitude. Joe Douglas came here and tore it down to the studs. And people, I didn't win any. Dude, he's tearing it down. He's like, you can't put the roof on when you're still smashing the foundation that's broken. You can't yell at somebody for having no roof when they're tearing up the foundation. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, again, I have lots of question marks about Joe Douglas. But overall, it's hard to ignore where we were and where we are. They're distinctly different things, man.
100%.
You know, what are there? 3 teams that are being picked more than the Jets to win the Super Bowl this year. That's a huge deal. Huge deal. So, all right. But great point, Rusty. So, Carl Lawson today, guys. Carl Lawson, we find out he restructured. But this was the guy that most of us thought was first up. We thought when the offseason starts, Carl Lawson is either getting restructured with an extension or something like that.
Or cut.
Or he's getting cut. Like, there's no way. And then, with just quietly, there's no news on Carl Lawson. Nothing. Not a peep. They ask Robert Saleh a few months in, and they say, what's up with Carl Lawson? He says, Carl Lawson will be here till he can't walk. You don't lose great pass rushers like he is. You don't give those kinds of talents away or whatever, however he said it. And then, okay, so all right, I guess he's just going to be here. I guess we're just going to ride this thing out. Now, he had no guaranteed money. So the Jets could cut him at any time. He gets nothing, right? I mean, he'll go sign somewhere, of course, but he gets nothing. So then today we find out that he restructures his deal down to $9 million with $8 million guaranteed. Now they've added, I believe it's 4 void years. So this enables the Jets to save a little over $12.5 million on the cap this year, which is Q money, in my opinion. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Now we restructured JFM. We restructured
CJ.
Well, we restructured Uzoma, right? We restructured Conklin. We restructured lots of guys. I mean, who else? There was more. I just can't think of them on the top of my head. But so we're making money all over the place to try to get this done. But this is a pretty big one, Gunny. Now, were you
100%.
surprised by this news? Are you happy? Are you where do you stand on this one?
I was surprised in all actuality. I felt like this would be one of those things we would have already seen come to fruition prior to the Aaron Rodgers trade if it wasn't to happen. But we also saw that Coach Saleh was adamant that Lawson was going to be here. But I think to me what surprised me the most was that he took a pay cut. Like, in all actuality, the $15 million cap hit would have been fully guaranteed if he played this season. Like, in all actuality. Yeah, it wasn't guaranteed, but if he completes the season, he would have got $15 million. He took a pay cut to play for the Jets. The $12 million was created, the 12.5 cap room space was created by adding some void years to his deal. I don't like that because we're talking about 4 years now. We're kicking the can down the road, which is nerve-wracking. But at the same token, we are trying to go ahead. We're in a win-now window, so I see the value in that. I was more impressed and or shocked by the fact that Carl Lawson took less to play here as a New York Jet next year. This isn't an extension. This wasn't an extension or anything like that. This was, hey, we're going to restructure your deal. We're going to pay you more money. We're going to pay you less money to play here. We're throwing some incentives. If you hit those, you'll make a little bit more. But at the end of the day, at max value, you're still taking a pay cut to be a New York Jet this coming season. And that, to me, is a combination of the Joe Douglas effect and the Aaron Rodgers effect, right? Carl Lawson coming in here. He's a competitive guy. I think we all can agree to that. He's just trying to prove himself. He's still young, coming off of freaking, an Achilles injury. He was more productive than Bradley Chubb, who the freaking Miami Dolphins just threw the bag at and traded a first-rounder to go ahead and get. So for me, there's a lot of wins here in terms of this, but this is a pure vision of the Joe Douglas effect and Aaron Rodgers effect. Just so y'all understand this, Carl Lawson literally restructured his contract to take less money to play for the New York Jets this coming season, even if they are spreading out the guarantees over the next 4 years in terms of void years. This is the guy who could have literally made the full $15 million if he just played the full season. He would have got his money. Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm shocked and excited that this happened because Carl Lawson, to me, I think year 2 after the Achilles injury is going to be more of a freak, more of a force than he was last year. And he was pretty damn good last year.
Yeah, he was. And I think it's smart for him too. I mean, he took less money. He did. but he got guaranteed money. Like you said, like if he started the season, it's guaranteed. But there's a long ways to start to the season. He tears it up. He tears something in training camp or anything like that. He's asked out. They can cut him. You know what I mean? So this guarantees no matter what happens, you're getting $8 million. And I think it's smart too, because he knows this is the defense tailor-made for a guy to get those stats up. And like if he does have a place to stand next year to get another contract, it's going to be right here, man. The team loves him. They just, like I said, like his ass is on fire. Just go get the quarterback. There's not a lot of read and react responsibilities, from his position, and just go. And he knows, man. For him, third year in the system, second year playing in it. Like you said, second year after the Achilles injury is kind of the rule of thumb to when they're actually back at 100%.
Yep.
So I think he knows. He's like, this is the place. I'll take a little bit less, but it's guaranteed, and I can make up to, I think it's up to 11 with incentives, so not too far off. No. And then, and again, this is the place where he's going to be able to get make himself look as good as he possibly can. Now, I want to just say this. I saw a comment in here about, who was it? Hold on. I think it was Harlan. I want to make sure. He said, Peyton Manning never played for a team in the AFC East. You're actually incorrect. Peyton Manning was drafted in 1998, and the realignment was in 2002 when we went to 3 divisions to 4. So Peyton Manning was in the AFC East, Harlan, for 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, he wasn't necessarily Peyton Manning yet those first couple of years. But he was. I mean, he threw 30-something touchdowns his rookie year. He had a whole shitload of interceptions too. But he was already, you could see it. Like, it wasn't like watching Zach. You know what I mean? Nine touchdowns, 11 picks, or whatever the hell. It was like, okay, well, this guy's going to take a minute to get it all out, but this guy's something else.
He's going to be good. Yeah.
He's going to be something. So you could see it. And then they brought in Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison. Once that trio started to gel, they were in the AFC East when that was happening. We got to deal with that. Again, they weren't the juggernaut yet, but they were definitely there, and they were not easy. We got to play him too. I was grateful when they got them out. I was like, good, go, get out of here. I don't want you here, you bastard. So yeah, I think the Carl Lawson thing is smart too. I think it makes a ton of sense. Now let me ask you guys this. Wait, I had a poll. Let me end this poll real quick, and then I'm going to end the poll. Now, the poll was, do you think the Jets will ever have a stress-free offseason? Let's see. 81% said no, Gunny. 81%. 18%. So, like Gunny said, we can hope, and maybe someday we'll just be a good team. You know what I mean? Maybe Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh will be here for a decade or more, and we get a couple rings, and we're always a playoff team, and who knows? But until then, we're just going to be stressed about everything because we're waiting for the bottom to fall out. That's just kind of our default setting. But anyway, there you go, Harlan. So Dano checking in. Becoming Dragon makes GreenBean the bearded dragon. Oh, there you go. I like that. I'm in, Dane. I like it. I'll be the bearded dragon. I'll take that. So that's good. Now, look, guys, we're gonna go. It's funny, man. We had an exodus a little while ago. I'm sure you can imagine why. So we're gonna go ahead and bring Watu-K on. Watu-K is here with us. He finally arrived. We started early, so it messed with his schedule, I imagine. Let's see. Does he have any trivia? Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Watu-K. So all right, let's bring Watu-K on and let's get some trivia going and see where this thing goes. Let's say hello to New York Sports Wicker Media himself, Watu-K. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing good, GreenBean. I got you, Ryan, and Matt on my shirt right now. How about it?
You got to take a picture with it. We're going to make a big collage. We're going to do
Ryan had mentioned that to me. I definitely will. I'm just waiting for that nice Gunny shirt to come out with Gunny in Green Bay, and I'll be sporting that one next when that
Green
comes
Bay.
Out.
There you go.
I got you.
I don't know if I'm ever going to wear Jeremy's face, but
that's a tough sell.
I can't fit that in there. Can't fit the head on,
You're eating a slice of pizza.
Exactly.
Something like that. Shirt looks good, man. That's a good looking shirt on you. You wear it well.
And it feels good. This is like a super comfortable, soft. It's got wicking material, appropriately enough. But no, this is a very soft, comfortable shirt. It feels great. It really does.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I got mine. I was delighted. I also got the hoodie. The hoodie's fantastic, man. Like I don't even, it's so good and it's so nice. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm afraid to wear it. Like I don't want to, because it's a gray, and I'm like, I just know me, man. I'm not good. Like I never wear light colors if I'm going out to eat. Never. It's guaranteed, man. There's gonna be a big something or other right around here. I'm gonna be walking around like an idiot the rest of the night. That's me. So I'm like afraid to wear it. But yeah, I'm happy with the quality. I'm good. Thank you for wearing it and showing it off, man. That's the Talking Jets shirt, everybody. So Y2K, let's do some trivia, man. What do you got for us tonight?
Okay, so for tonight's trivia, we're gonna go back to the draft a little bit. I didn't have a chance to ask you too many draft related questions, so I got to ask a question about my guy and Virginia's guy, Zach Kuntz. So the Jets drafted him in the 7th round of the in the NFL draft. Now, we are all hoping that Zach scores a lot of touchdowns, but if he does do that, he's going to be in select company, because the Jets have only had 2 7th-round picks in their history who scored multiple receiving touchdowns during the course of their careers. So 2 receiving touchdowns or more drafted by the Jets in the 7th round. Can you name them?
All right, we have 4 minutes, and we're not allowed to use search engines. I have one clarifying question. Can you use that in a sentence? Can you? I
give you the language of origin.
What year is, like, how far back are we going?
Let's see. We're not going back. We're going back a little bit, but we're not going back to, the black and white days. We're not going back to like 60s or 70s. It's give me a decade. 80s up? Yeah, I would say we've got this century, like the 2000s and 80s. Let's go there.
All right. Anunwa was a 6th round pick.
Right. Anunwa was 6th round.
Okay, yet he says Sean Ellis. Did he score multiple touchdowns as a 7th round pick?
I see Danny Woodhead. Woodhead was not drafted. Woodhead was UDFA.
All right, let's see. I wanted to say Josh Allen, or not Josh Allen, Antonio Allen. But did he score more than one? I know he scored at least one. He had that pick of Brady. Pick 6. Y2K, are you with us?
I want to say Robbie Anderson, but Robbie
Y2K
Anderson,
frozen?
Yeah, he's frozen. Wasn't Robbie Anderson an undrafted free agent, though?
Yeah. All right, I'm stopping the timer.
Yeah, timeout.
All right, what were you going to say?
Because I was thinking Robbie Anderson, and I just saw somebody else pop it up, but he was an undrafted free agent, right. I thought.
Yeah, and I want everybody to. I said receiving touchdowns. This isn't defensive. This isn't pick 6. This isn't returns. Okay. Hawk asked for the question again. Okay, so the Jets have had 2 7th-round picks in their history who scored multiple receiving touchdowns over the course of their career. It is not Sharon Peake. That's a good guess, Gimmo Bob. And Peake really played a lot of special teams.
He did.
I think he had one, but only one.
He stuck around.
He
7th-round picks.
7th round?
Yeah, so Cottrey was either a 3rd or a 4th from NC State.
Yeah, Cottrey was up there.
He was up there a little bit.
All right. We're going to look at running backs, too. Don't forget about running backs. They catch.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good idea.
Who's the 7th-round running back, guys?
This guy actually has been an answer to a previous trivia question that we've had on the show.
Johnny Hector.
No, not Johnny Hector.
Dedrick Ward was a 3rd. Okay, Yeti.
7th rounder, bro?
I know it's hard, man.
That's a good one.
Powell was a 5th, I think, or 4th.
Yeah, Bilal was a 4 from Louisville, yeah.
Yeah. David says Smith, Johnson, Anderson.
We've got one. We have one correct answer in the chat.
Who?
Chancey Stuckey?
Chancey Stuckey. He had 5 receiving touchdowns, so good job by Jeff Otis Brown.
Chancey
4 with the Jets and 1 with Cleveland. Stuckey was a 7, yeah. How about that?
How about
what?
Scott Durkin?
William Sprague, my man. Yep, William knocked it out with 30 seconds left on the clock. It is Kevin Long, the running back.
Kevin Long. Okay.
Played 6 years with the Jets, and here's the funny thing. All his 3 receiving touchdowns were scored in his last season with the Jets.
Amazing.
Kevin Long and Chancey Stuck.
Hey, good job. Good job.
That was excellent. I see some really good answers too. Scotty McKnight. That's what I was fishing for. Scotty McKnight. I was in that. I was in that realm, David. I wasn't there. I was like, I was swimming in that pool. I would have landed on Scotty McKnight in a minute.
That was really good.
But I see Terrence Mathis. I don't remember when he was an earlier pick. He wasn't a
he
second.
was an early, yeah, he was like a second and third round pick. He was
third, I think. Adrian Morrell was a fourth. Salim Akeem. No, he didn't have any touchdowns. You remember the whole thing with Salim Akeem? You remember his claim to fame? Anybody remember? I just made a video. I put it in last week's episode 115 of GreenBean Jets Pod.
I vaguely remember the name.
Joe Klecko. Salim Akeem was the guy when we signed Brandon Marshall. We traded for Brandon Marshall. Salim Akeem was the guy wearing number 15. And he made it, Brandon, they were asked, are you going to want number 15? And he said, well, we'll see. And Salim Akeem said, I'll give him my number if he gives me $25,000 or can beat me in a head-to-head one-on-one race. And then the day later, he said, forget it. I'll just give him my number. Or something like it. Somebody sat down and said, dude, you're Salim Akeem. He's Brandon Marshall. He's going to get the damn number, or you're going to cut you.
A little bit of a gap.
Stop it.
Give him the number or you're gone. You won't have a job.
He's like, come on, man. 25 grand. I could use it. I make nothing. So, all right. Well, listen, Watch. That was a good one, Watch. Okay, Watch. I can't really say outside of early on when he was like in 1961. You know what I mean? Like that. Like that
was just to piss off Frankie. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the Titans. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. Other than that, I can honestly say I feel confident saying this. I don't think Watch UK has had a bad trivia. Like they've all been very, very thoughtful, creating, introspective, searching, not really easy. They've all had a proper level, an appropriate level of difficulty, right?
He makes you question yourself as a historian of the New York Jets. And I do it. I sit there and question myself. I'm like, damn, I thought I followed this team. Damn, I got to step my game up. And then every week I'm like, this week he ain't getting me. This ain't going to be the week he gets me. And he freaking gets me again. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to do better.
Yeah.
And I was doing some more research this week. I found like a whole other way to ask draft questions. So we're going to get to down the road.
Awesome.
There's so much time between now and the regular season. There's so many more questions to ask.
You got to get some really good training camp questions, like guys who were training camp heroes or you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. Like remember Greg Dortch? Remember an undrafted free agent at Wake Forest? He was like 5'3" or whatever he was.
Went to Carolina and I think Arizona.
He actually ended up on the Cardinals, and he was their leading receiver for like a few weeks this year. Fucking Greg Dortch.
Greg Dortch.
I do remember the name. Yeah, and it's always like a running back or a wide receiver, isn't it? It's always
a lot of the time.
Guy. It's never exciting. It's never a safety, because you see the big flashy plays.
Right. You're right. One Jets Drive does a good job of highlighting some of these players for us when we go through that. Now this year it'll more than likely be Hard Knocks. Yeah. Maybe One Jets Drive will do a foray on the back end of Hard Knocks. That'd be really great. That's what they should do, man. They should totally be giving us the window into what it looks like behind the scenes of Hard Knocks. 2 layers deep. Wouldn't that be the shit? 2 layers deep. That's what we want. But they did a whole foray. I thought Greg Dortch was a lock to make the team. He even had a good preseason with us, and they cut him.
You know what else I would want to see? I would like to see a little behind the scene after the draft is over, and then Joe Douglas, Rex Hogan are trying to get these undrafted free agents.
Yeah, dude.
I want to know the process of when there's all this competition to get these guys. Like all these guys are getting bid on. You know, how do they make their decision? What's making these guys go to the Jets or go to a different team? I want to see that one day.
That would be fantastic.
That'd be nice.
Wouldn't that be good?
That'd be
Because that's like a
freaking nice.
forgotten. It's so important, and the truth is, it's even a bigger deal in many respects. It's more intense. It's like all the teams. There goes Gunny. All the teams at the exact same time are scrambling to bring in all the. You know, these kids are probably picking up the phone, and you know, it's like it's such an intense. It's very important, and people just kind of like, draft's over, and it's not. It's not. It's very intense. I think that would be a great idea.
I wonder if the process even starts before the draft ends. Like the Jets know they're out of draft picks. They call and say, "Hey, so and so, you know, we don't have any more picks, but if you get through, we're very interested." I don't know if that's allowed or if there's like if that's tampering or what that is. But yeah, I would love to know how all that works.
Me too. So look, now Gunny disappeared. It's okay. We're going to end the show in just a second. Before we do, I want to just show you guys something very, very important in my new garden.
We're going to see some eggs here. What do we got here?
Take a look. Can you see it?
Early serve green bean.
And look,
Are we
my first sprout. The green beans are growing.
the actual green beans? Oh,
The actual green bean in GreenBean garden.
Green beans. I mean, come on. It sells itself, doesn't it?
Isn't that amazing?
Your silhouette, like on the front of the packaging. I mean, it's absolutely perfect.
It should. I should make these little spoons. I should have put my logo right on the spoon, right there. My little face mark, my little picture. But it's funny because I'm doing it with I shared this land with my neighbor, and he's got like 13 acres and I have 6. And so we're doing this. Let me get that off your face, Gunny. Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
But anyway, he didn't know. So he's like, yeah, we should do a lot of green beans. And we're talking green beans. After like 2 weeks of hanging out and we planted, I said, you do know that like I'm called Green Bean. And he goes, for what? And I'm like, on my YouTube thing. He's like, really? Green Bean? I'm like, yeah. And I showed him. He's like, holy shit. And I want to grow all these green beans. I'm like, yeah, man. So it's like, yeah, I said, it really works. He's like, yeah, I thought you were very, very agreeable to all the green beans. We got like 4 different kinds of green beans that we're growing. But there it is. So you guys know it's not just words. It's real. I'm growing green beans. And there's my first little sprout. There he is. I'm very excited. His name is Charlie. Charlie the green bean sprout.
What up, Charlie?
Look at him.
Charlie?
See that? There he is. I think his name's Charlie. Anyways, as of now, his name's Charlie. Why isn't it going away? Y2K. Let me get that out. There it is. Okay.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, guys, that's going to do it. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I did see the mass exodus. We almost got up to 200 of you. And then as soon as 8:04, 8:05 rolled around, I lost 45 people in a matter of a minute. I was like, yep, the show started.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. So, flight.
They knew I was coming on.
No. Flight 2023 dropped tonight. Y2K. So when we're all done here, I'm going to bed. I can't even watch it. I have to wake up in literally 6 hours from right now. So I have to go to bed, everybody. So that all said, I do appreciate the time everybody spent. Thanks for hopping on early, everybody, including Gunny.
Of course.
Yeah, I appreciate the working of the schedule, and I'm glad so many of you guys were able to hang out. Go watch Flight 2023. Let's get in our jets. I'll be probably catching up tomorrow afternoon on that one. I can't put it on. I just know it's another hour. I know it, and I'll only get 5 hours of sleep.
It's about 48 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can't. And then I get amped up, and then I want to eat cereal, and there's a whole fucking thing I'm up till midnight, and then I got to record a video. Then I got to chat with everybody. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing. Then I stop on Y2K's doing something, and I hop on there. Hey, man. So it's a whole thing. It's like either I go to bed now or it's done. I'm over.
So let's be honest. Green Bean's got to get up because he's got to go farm Charlie. He's got to water Charlie.
That's what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He's got farmer hours now.
Farmer in the Dell.
It's so true. I'm a farmer too. But to be truthful, that picture was taken a couple of days ago. Charlie has a whole row of friends now, but that was the first one. That was the first guy. Boop, little Charlie.
First sprout.
That's right. So, all right, guys, let's go around real quick. See what everybody's doing. Y2K, you got anything coming up?
Oh man, now that we've kind of moved on into the summer, it's a little bit more of a baseball focus, but I'm still doing Jet stuff when the moment moves me. But have been recording the last week. GreenBean, I've been going through some very serious personal stuff that's been a little bit of a priority, but I'm slowly working my way through it. Hopefully, it will be all resolved. I'll leave it at that. But very glad to be here tonight. And to be on with you guys, Jeremy and I haven't been able to do a show in a couple weeks. So it's definitely good to be on tonight. But check it out. NY Sports Wicker Media. Well, I think I'm like 5 subscribers away from 600. So it's going little by little. So I want to cross that 600 subscriber barrier. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate it.
We got to do that tonight, man. If you haven't subscribed to New York Sports Wicker Media, let's go over there. There's still 120 of you in here. If you haven't subscribed to New York Sports Wicker Media, let's head on over and get Y2K over this plateau of 600 subs. It's a big deal. It's not as easy as you think out here getting subscribers and everything. It's a grind, man. And believe me when I tell you, YouTube punishes you. Like if you don't make a video for 3, 4, 5 a week, they punish you, man. They show you to no one. Like the algorithm just responds and goes, all right, well, I guess you're done. And then you have to work it back in. It's hard. It's not easy to do. So, again, if you haven't subscribed to New York Sports Wicker Media, head over there and let's get them over the 600 subscriber plateau. Gunny, what do you got coming up?
Yeah, training camp videos, right? Like right now, it's all about pretty much, some of the training camp stuff going on. Aaron Rodgers being involved with this young core of our team. The difference between him throwing freaking footballs in May, vice the last few years as a Green Bay Packer. Yeah, just jump on the channel, man. I'm trying to go ahead and put things out there. I did have to do a recertification apparently with YouTube to validate that I am who I say I am, because like you just said, if you miss a couple of weeks on YouTube when they're putting you out there, they will make it almost difficult for you to get back into the game. This is the second time I am not going through it. It is what it is. But yeah, jump on the channel, New York Situation Report. A lot of stuff coming out of the training camp right now I'm be talking about, and just chop it up with you guys. So it's what it is. I'm about, I think, 60-something away from 1,000 subscribers. That's crazy to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sitting here in front of you guys like I didn't think this would be the case, and yet here I am. So now I'm really pumped to get over that 1,000 mark. And I said before, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway of a Jordan Namath autographed jersey once I do hit the 1,000 mark to everybody that's 1,000 and below. So if you haven't joined, please feel free to go ahead and join. Looking forward to go ahead and chopping it up with you and talking Jets football on my channel as well.
Yeah, there you go. If that's not motivation, I don't know what is, man. He's a few away from 65 away from 1,000. So go over there if you haven't subscribed. New York Jets situation report, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah, New York Jets situation report. And look, if you're in there now, you're involved in the giveaway, man, of the signed Joe Namath. Come on. That's about as good as it gets. So get on over there, support these guys. A couple things before we go. I will say that Kareem surprisingly doesn't like this episode of One Jets Drive, thinks it's trash.
Oh, snap.
That means it's going to be awesome. Fantastic.
It's
probably going to be great.
Rusty said he just gave you $5.95, so you only got 5 left, but that's not enough. Indy Jets just gave you $5.96, so you're 4 away, and we got another one in here.
I'm actually 3 away right now. Yeah.
3 away, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Come on.
There you go. And one more thing before we go. Harlan, I hate to correct you twice in one night, but Lamont Jordan was a second-round pick, my friend. First-round grade on most people. Most people thought Lamont Jordan was going to go in the first, tail end of the first. He made it to the second. The Jets grabbed him. And I'd say at least a third of Jetnation wanted him to replace Curtis Martin. And wisely, we didn't do that. But he went to the Raiders and had a decent little career.
One good year and disappeared. Yeah. That was basically the end of it.
All right, guys. Well, that is our show. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget a couple things. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Give me them their milk thumbs. Like Jeff Otis Brown said, I'm going to get a cow so we can do the milk thumbs properly. We'll do that. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. It is greatly appreciated. It's how we grow here on YouTube. Don't forget to support New York Sports Wicker Media, New York Jets Situation Report. And even though he's not here, let's go give Jets Chaos some love as well. That's Jeremy. Guys, thank you for being here. Go watch One Jets Drive. Let us know what you think. With that all being said, have a great night. We will see you all next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah!
You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.